Hello, my name is Samantha and I'm known here on YouTube as the Huga Stitcher. Welcome to my channel. I have a really fun episode planned for you today. So I hope that you have your stitching out and that you're in your comfy spot and you're ready to visit. I have put together every single one of my fairy charts, patterns, whips, past finishes, everything that I could think of that is related to fairies, which I've learned that I have quite a collection. And I had many whips and I was feeling inspired over the past month to get them all out and stitch them. So it's been about 3 weeks since my last video, and during that time I have been stitching on my fairies, putting together everything that I thought I could share with you today. So let's have some fun. I'm gonna start off with the latest pattern that I had on my Q-snap that I've been stitching, which is a Teresa Wentzler. This is called Lily Maiden. It's a chart I've been working on for a few years now, and it was my very first Teresa Wentzler ever stitched, and it has been a challenge. However, even though it's been challenging, it's been really enjoyable to stitch, and it really did spark my sort of obsession with Teresa Wentzler charts and all the things Teresa Wentzler. I went down a rabbit hole, dragons, and I've been collecting charts, and I have some new starts coming soon with some more Teresa Wentzler. So I'm in love with the designs, and it's all because of this fairy chart. This is Lily Maiden, and she's coming along. So when I pick this up and I stitch on it, it's something that I don't tend to get a ton of progress on. Like, I'll spend time on it, but it doesn't look like much. But what I have been working on in the last year is completing her wings. They are the most challenging for me. Like, these green colors, I just flew through. They were so fun to stitch, but the wings have been more of a challenge, and there's multiple reasons for that. It can be the blended floss. It also has a blending filament with like a krynic that is one strand, and it's just more of a challenge, and it's not as easy to distinguish where you are because a lot of the colors are so similar. But I have been making progress. The way I tackle these charts is basically go to the top and find a space that's missing, figure out what symbol that is, and then try to go down through the wing with that whole symbol until it's done, and then go back up to the top and just keep going. So this wing is mostly complete, except for this little spot right here. You can see there's like an outline. This is the under part of her wing, and I'm getting close to finishing the top part of her wing here. And there's a little bit more that goes down here, I think, looking at that chart. And another plan that I had with this one is to get some of the colors in here in her dress. There's a lot of pinks and purples that weren't showing up in the design yet, and I love doing that. I love adding the new colors. And I started a little bit with her pinks, light pink and pink, and then I've did sort of the same approach with going up at the top, what color was next, and doing these purples. And as you can tell, this is a page break, and I'm trying to get away from doing that from here on out. I am trying to, if I see a color up at the top and then I have to turn the page over, I do that and then I keep going. So that's been a lot of fun. But look at, like, pulling it back just to here. This is gonna be amazing. I'm so excited about this chart. Like, she's not backstitched yet, like her face. Ooh, and all of these white stitching in here, these are all the lilies that I haven't done yet either, but I'm obsessed with this. This is so good. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun stitching on her. I wish I could show you and say, like, look at all the progress I made, but it's just a slow go, and that's okay. So that's my first fairy that I wanted to share with you. I have a lot, like, looking at this stack, majority of them are Nora Corbett, Mirabilia, and I'm starting to venture out and try new designers. And this is a designer who I've been wanting to stitch. I've been admiring the charts for a long time, And this one is a Joan Elliott, and it is called Iceberry. Oh, this is so pretty. I love this chart because of the colors. One of my favorite colors is purple, and in here you get like a lot of these good chunks. Like I started in the middle of the design and started with some of the purples and blues. And yeah, I'm excited to share my progress of how far I've gotten on this. This was a new start last year, in the fall, I believe, and this is where I am. So when I was working on this, I was focused on her arms. Last time you saw this, I had completed her upper body here and a part of her dress and some of the ribbon. And now I have done both of her arms with that fun purple colors. I also stitched a little bit of her skin, just a little bit, because I wanted to like get this color in, because it stretched over here to her other arm. And then there's like this white ruffle on her shoulder, and then the arm. So I needed to kind of make my way through there. I think next time I want to do this is to get her face in there, because it looks funny, right? I like to get the you know, get the skin and the face put in so that you can kind of see it come to life. This is going to be gorgeous. I'm stitching this on a 32 count Silver Moon Lugana by Zweigart. And I think it's perfect for this design. I find Lugana really, really easy to stitch with because of the even weave. It's just really, really enjoyable. Put it on the Q-snap. The material is sturdy, and it feels good in the Q-snap. And the stitching is just really, really simple. And that's what I'm enjoying about Joan Elliott designs, is that her charts are very easy to follow. If you are a Mirabilia stitcher, like just going from being a Mirabilia stitcher to starting a Joan Elliott, I was like, wow, this is so easy. This is a piece of cake. And it's just, yeah, but also really fun to do, because I find that when she has colors, like for example, the teals in here, there's about 3 different colors. She's got the darkest teal, the medium, and the light. And those are the 3 colors that you use in a ribbon. I find that Nora Corbett, she will typically have 5 colors, like it's like dark red, medium red, you know, and then like middle light, and then the lightest. That's sort of how I find that she will do colors like that. They'll typically be 5, and you work through those stages of the 5 colors. Where I'm noticing with the Joan Elliott, it's like 3. These blues, there was a dark blue, a medium blue, and a light blue. Same with the purple. 3 shades of purple. So that's, you know, I'm just noticing this as I'm learning and as I'm going. Very, very enjoyable to do. Super excited. So I thought I would bring out my other charts. As I'm going through this, you will see what is in my collection of charts that I want to stitch one day and that are in my stash. And this is another Joan Elliott. This one's called Fairy of the Rainbow. Oh, look at that. Wow. Look at her wings. This is stunning. And this one, just looking at this now, I would love to do her, and I've never done this before, for like a fairy, is to do like an opalescent modeled fabric. Would be really, really fun to do with this one, because she's got great colors that are bold, that would pop off the fabric. I think this would be stunning. And with it being a fairy, it's like the time to be, you know, there's beads in these designs. Usually there's Krynic for backstitching and things like that. This is the time to have some fun. And I hope that while you're watching this, you get inspired. If you are, I know not everybody stitches fairies or Mirabilia, but I'm hoping that this video will inspire you if you currently have some fairies that you have in your collection that you are wanting to work on and wanting to stitch on. I hope this video just lights a fire in you and want to stitch all the things. That's sort of the goal, isn't it? Always. And yeah, I just hope that you will enjoy this. I know that when I watch other floss tubes, I tend to gravitate to the people who stitch something similar to what I like, but then also that has that wide variety of things I don't stitch, because I love seeing what other people are into, and I love just, learning about new designers and start to form my own opinions on what would be my preference. And so yeah, I enjoy watching Flosstube for that reason, because we are all different and we all enjoy different things. So it's fun. So here I am showing all of my fairies with you today. This is my next one that I wanted to talk about. This is Bluebell by Nora Corbett. And I'm excited to share with you that I have a finish. I was sort of in my last video talking about how much I wanted to get this one done this year. And after I'd filmed the video, it was like, I don't know, maybe a week or so later, I was like, time to get it out. Let's finish it. So all I had left to do was about half the pattern in beading. So one day I had just got out all my beads that I needed for this project and finished it up. So here it is. Here's Bluebell. She's so gorgeous. This is my first finish of 2025. Very proud of myself for completing another one of these pixies. I have stitched quite a few of these from the Pixie Couture collection. This one's called Spring Garden Party Collection for Pixie Couture by Nora Corbett. Woof, that's quite a title. But she is absolutely stunning. Bring her in a little close for you so you can see all of the beading, all of the sparkle. Like, wow. I believe I stitched her on a 32 count. I believe it's antique white. My favorite part in this chart, like in the design itself, is how Nora Corbett does the feet. To me, this is a ballerina toe. This is like so adorable. I love it. The way that she's got the beads on her foot here and the wraparound Kreinik upper leg, and you could tell there was a bow at the back, the little wisps. Oh, it's so cute. And the use of the colors. Bluebell is gorgeous, and this was one of the first that I did that I fell in love with that had sort of that umbrella effect. She has a few charts like that have, the fairies holding something and then the stem of the flower, and it almost looks like an umbrella. I was really drawn to this chart for that reason. And I love these big jumbo beads. They are supposed to look like dewdrops on top of the flower. This is stunning. This is stunning. I'm obsessed with it. I have is it 1, 2, 3? I have 6 Pixie Couture collection pixies that I've been working on since 2007. When I first fell in love with Nora Corbett, you'll see behind me, I talk about them all the time because this is my collection. And this was sort of my envision of what I wanted to do back here, to have a space that had my pixies up on the wall. And I have completed 3 of them. The first one I did is this one here in the middle. I believe that is called Morning Glory. And this was my introduction to Nora Corbett. It's a smaller, out of a Mirabilia, the Nora Corbett's are smaller design. It was my first time using Kreinik, stitching with beads, all the things, and it just started my obsession with Nora Corbett, and that was it. I had made a list of the pixies that I wanted to stitch out of that collection as they were coming out, and there's Violet that I did, and this one is Iris. Now I have Bluebell. And another one that I have stitched that I have not framed yet is Tiger Lily. And I really love your advice about this, because back then I wasn't thinking about having my set of 6, having them framed and being all together. I don't know what I was thinking actually. When I stitched Tiger Lily, because she was so special to me, I wanted to stitch her on a different fabric than the others. And I had picked a French lace, and it sort of reminded me a little bit of fall, like instead of it being the bright white, This sort of gives you that like the fall color sort of with the tiger lily flower. And so that's why I chose it. But now that I'm getting close to completing this set, I just don't know if I should restitch her again, like a second time. She was really fun to stitch. Should I stitch her again on the matching fabric so that all of them match when I frame them all? Because they're all gonna have the same frame, they're all gonna look the same, have a set of 6. Or do I leave her and frame her with the different color fabric? Another thought I had, do you see the difference in the size? If I did restitch it again, I might think about doing a 28 count antique white so that she does appear a little bit bigger. Maybe not. I don't know. These are all the things that are swirling around in my head because I'm getting close. I have one more pixie that's Poppy, and she is going to be finished this year too. And I just need to make some decisions because I am getting close to that point where I'm like, I'll have 3 left and I'll take them to the framer. I want to get them all done at the same time. I'm actually going to bring back Iris because she's positioned in the frame differently than the other 2. Meaning Iris is like dead in the center. And the other 2, when I had, because I'd gotten these ones done first, I had asked them to kind of put their feet down at the bottom and have more room at the top for the wings. And with this one, I forgot to mention that. And when it was framed, it was just framed dead center. So like I'm thinking about taking her out and redoing her so that she's positioned a little bit different in the frame, and then getting my 3 pixies done. So this is a lot. This is a lot roaming around in my brain. But now that I have Bluebell done, I'm thinking I might have to stitch Tiger Lily again. I mean, I could finish this one in a different way. I could, you know, something I thought about with this one is I could get an like a brown oval frame that would give you that circular. That would be cool. Like I could do something different with her and gift her, or just put in a different spot in my house. I don't know. So these are all things I'm thinking about. I hope you can help me decide. Like, put your comments down below. What do you think I should do? Oh, please help. All right, let's move on. I have a ton to show. I have a ton to show you. This is something I'm very excited about. This was a pattern I started last year in November, I believe. This is my Lavender and Lace Firefly Fairies. And I'm obsessed with the fabric that I had purchased from Amy, from Fiber Arts Amy. Her company is called Oak Crown Studio. And she had come out with a fabric that was inspired for this stitch. Because you'll notice in the center, it sort of has that like glow in the center of the fabric where they have their wands, almost like they're lighting up their path of where they're going in the dark. And this was the fabric. Like, this is my favorite thing I've ever done, I believe. Like, this is gonna be so cool. I can't wait to finish, like to enjoy stitching on this. But then also one day to get this framed in a really cool way and to hang this on my wall. It's going to be amazing, amazing. And the last time I stitched on this, or the last time you saw it, I had started with in November, I had done probably a week or 2 on this stitch, and I got the first fairy in, started right in the middle, got her arm. I wanted to get her wand in there to see where it landed on the fabric. And then I wanted to get some of her deeper red, like the deeper red colors in her dress. That's how I approach a lot of my Mirabilias. And now with the Lavender and Lace is I love to get the darkest color in the fabric and then work my way through the pattern with the going down the lighter color and the lighter color, that sort of thing. So that's what I had done here. The next time I picked it up, I started, you know, I counted over, I got her arm in, the blue fairy, got her wand color in, and now you can see where that one's going to land. And as I was stitching this navy blue purpley color, I was like, oh, this is my favorite one. This one just like pops off the fabric, even like her dark stitching, which I'm glad it lands like the way that the, you know, the fabric has been dyed by Amy. It really is like a big piece of this, well, I don't know what you would call it, like this section, you know what I'm trying to say? It's quite large, it's not small like in the picture where it's a lot smaller. And I actually love that about this because it's going to get those dark colors are going to pop off the fabric really well in there, but also complement the colors down at the bottom. And then the next time I pick this up, I'm gonna get that green, a start to the green fairy. So again, I'm gonna do her arm and wand, and then work on the back of her dark green colors of her dress. I want to see where they all go, and then I can just, whatever I feel like, oh, I want to work on the green one, oh, let's do some more in the red or do some more in the blue, and just keep going. It's kind of like working on 3 fairies in one design. This is so good. I'm so excited. So I'm excited what's going to happen throughout the year in 2025, how far I can get on this stitch. I hope you're along for the ride. I'm going to take a little sip of water. I'm trying this new thing with my videos. I used to do a lot of editing in my past videos. If you have been here a while, or if you are new here and then you stumble upon one of my older videos, I used to do a lot of editing, and it's not that I didn't enjoy doing it. It's just the video, I felt like as you were watching it as the viewer, it was interruptive almost, like it interrupted your viewing every time you made a change and stopped the video and started a new spot. And I find that when you just film, like press record and go, the flow and the feel of the video is more enjoyable to watch. So that's what even if I need to take a drink of water, you know, before that would have made me like stop, have a sip, regroup, restart. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm trying to do this new thing just so that it's a little bit more enjoyable for you. All right, I'm gonna share with you a few of my lavender and lace charts that are fairies. I have quite a collection growing behind me here. I have been gifted so many beautiful charts, and I went through my whole collection and pulled out all the fairies. So I have 2 more to show you. This one is called Fairy Grandmother. I hope you can see her okay through the plastic. She is stunning, and this is a must stitch for me. Maybe after I'm done with the Firefly fairies, this might be my next lavender and lace start. I love the colors on here. I love the colors of her wings. It almost has this like rainbowy, there's like a million colors in there. There's green, there's purple, there's pink, there's blue, white. It's so pretty. Wow, I think that would be really enjoyable to stitch. Like just looking at this, I see wonderful chunks of color in her dress. You know, a little bit of a breakup here with the little ruffles down at the bottom, but overall, lots of beautiful stitching in here. This will be little spots of color, like fill in a little section of green. Okay, stop. Now we're gonna do some light blue and then some purple. Like there will be the opportunity to stop and go, but still get little chunks. And then there's this whole background that I don't know. I'll have to do some research and see if there have been others who have just stitched the fairy and left the background out and see what she looks like, because that might be really fun on a fun fabric. Or if you do more of a basic fabric, maybe adding in this back detail will be well worth doing. So we'll see. And look at the swirls of beading. That's fun. That's fun. Okay, and here's another chart, another fairy that I'm gonna do part of a giveaway for this video because I have now come across 2 of them. This one's called Fairy Dreams, and it's Lavender and Lace number 41. Gorgeous. Okay, now this, I wonder if it tells you what year this came out. 1996 it says. Wow. So for the giveaway, if you will use the word fairy in the comment, I will do a draw for my next video and give one of these away to you all. Okay, so after all the talk about not having to edit the video, I had to cough and I didn't want to put that in there. So there we go, I had to stop it anyways. All right, so we'll keep going. This is a Mirabilia that I have stitched on recently in the last couple of weeks here. This is Butterfly Fairy by Nora Corbett. I love this design. This is going to be really, really fun to stitch. So far, it has been amazing, and I'm dying to get into more of the colors and into her wings. When I started this project, I started right at the top, right in the middle, and right at the top, which I never do. I typically am a center start type person, and I'll work my way up and then work my way down. But this one, just the way that the chart was laid out, I was able to see really easily, you know, measure right in the middle, you know, 3 inches down on the fabric, go. And it was actually kind of fun to start at the top. This is going to be really enjoyable to stitch over the year with just grabbing a color and working your way down. That's my favorite way to stitch. And this is what I have done so far. Oh my gosh. So what I was able to accomplish, I had gone in and finished the frame of her hand. I think I had only come down to about here, and so I needed to get those colors up and over. And you can see the great shading in her hand. That's going to be fun. And then the butterfly will be up top there, same colors as the butterfly wings that she has. So that's going to be fun. And then I also went in and completed her other arm. None of the back stitching yet, because I'll do that last. Once I get all the colors around her arm done, then I'll go in and back stitch. Also, you can see, look at like these little holes. It's like she's wearing a necklace, and you can see where the beading is going to go, like around her shoulder and around her neck. It's gonna be really pretty. And these spaces in here are also gonna be all beading. And then I did this darker pinky purple mauvey color in her dress. So that was super fun. She's starting to come together. Still very early stages of this chart, and she's big. Like she's called Butterfly Fairy, but to me she's like the queen of the fairies, because she's like a large Mirabilia, where like her face is big and her like everything about her is larger than majority of the Mirabilias. And I don't know if necessarily the stitch area is bigger. It's more of like there's more to them. They're just larger. So I would call her the queen of the fairies. She's so pretty. And I'm stitching her on the called for fabric. This is a 32 count Country French Latte Linen by Witch Elt. There you go. It's gonna be fun. Okay, next up we have the Woodland Fairy. This was a sal that I was working on with Rogue Mama Stitcher, Amber, and Sarah from Memphis, Sarah E. Last year we had started this one. Did you all hear about Sarah? She has recently purchased an LNS in Memphis, and I'm super excited for her. Wow, it's been really fun watching her reels on Instagram and, you know, going through the process of being a shop owner and doing the renovations in her new shop and reorganizing, and I'm just along for the ride. I am going to link her video below so that if you haven't met Sarah before, you can go and go look and go see her new store and all the things. It's very exciting. Really, really happy for her. Anyways, back to this. This is the Woodland Fairy, number MD 67. And here's where I am. making some excellent progress. So last time you saw, or where I was before, is I had completed the outline of her wings and had done a good chunk right in here, like sort of where she's sitting on a log and this first layer of her dress. And what I did this time around was stretch out farther this way of her, this is her knee on the other, like her other side, and the colors sort of change on you, right? So you can see the shadow, this is the top part of her leg and it's coming down. And as her dress folds, you see the different colors of yellows and dark browns. And something I've noticed about this chart is it has blended colors, which sometimes Nora Corbett does. A lot in her older charts, I find, more so than her newer ones, but it surprised me. I didn't know that that was going to be in there, but a lot of these brown colors in here that's sort of like brown and golds stitched together, one strand of each color, gives it a cool effect. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this one. What I'm dying to do is I really want to get into some of those pinks in the ribbon, and to sort of get a little bit of the branch that she's sitting on. Like, I'd like to get underneath her, there's a little bit of the log, a little bit more of her dress, and then start the pink with the draping ribbons. And then I'll go back to working more on her dress. And at some point, this is gonna be so fun to do, is to fill in these colors in her wing. That's gonna be amazing. And this is only like the first wing. You'll see in the back, she has a second wing that I haven't stitched yet, which a little bit comes in through here and then pokes out. And there's more stitching back here to show that there's two wings. And I love this feature in the stitch, is that you get to see through her wing, there is this iridescent, there is sparkle, like stitched with the skin color, so that you get that effect of, I can see her dress there, but it's got the sparkle in it, it's behind the wing. That is so cool. Oh, and so clever. This is stunning. Oh, I'm stitching this one on a different colored fabric. Usually I stick to what's called for. And on this one, like the called for color is Stony Point Linen on this one. And I honestly don't remember what color this is, but I think it's Water Lily. Because I've stitched a lot of things on here, and I think I had her like this extra piece of Water Lily in my collection. And I thought the colors would go, like it works. So I wanted to get started on her and get going and use up what I have in this case. So she's looking great. Now, something that I did the last couple of Mirabilias that I started last year was I wanted to have some fun with fabric because I've been, you know, keeping it safe, sticking to the called for. I know I'm going to be happy with the design after it's done if I stick to the called for color fabric. But I started to get a little adventurous. You know, you saw adventurous with my fairies, with this one here. This is me being very adventurous, and you can tell how much I've enjoyed that process and how exciting it is to stitch on something like that. You know, I've been trying to venture out a little bit. And on this next project, this is the Cottage Garden Fairy. I chose a Picture This Plus. I believe it's called Oaken. I'm trying to remember now. I should have wrote it down. I have it written down somewhere. But yeah. I think I have a tag that's in the project bag, but I have all the project bags down here because I was, you know, after I stitch, I will put the project bag away and put the stitch on one of these, you know, foam boards. I went and bought a bunch of them so that I could, as I'm going through the month, I can stitch, put it on the board, put it on the table, wait for the next video. Like, it's ready to go. And I just think that they show up so nicely for you. Just taking the time to pin them down on the board. It's easy for me to show. And it's also, I think you get a better picture of what the what the stitching is going to look like, or does look like. So here it is. This is Cottage Garden Fairy, and I think she's looking amazing on this fabric. Stunning. It kind of gives you that like darker feel to it, and the colors really pop off the fabric. And what I was able to do this time around, this dress was one of the ones that I like started in the middle of the design and, you know, stitched some of her dress, did a little bit of these bows at the back and a little bit of these ribbon. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, I need to work up and get her face in. And so what I did is I completed this arm, a little bit more of her dress on her chest here, a little bit more color on her skin. And then I did her other arm and stitched the little bit stitching for the wand. That's super fun. You're starting to get the shape of what she's gonna look like. Just going through all of these with you, I know I got to enjoy them as I was stitching on them, but like, wow, I'm obsessed. I love these. These are so good. I could just stitch on these all day, every day, and life is good. This is comfort stitching for me. I find that whenever I work on another designer, I have to think more. Whereas if I pick, like, it's different for other people. I've heard people say that when they work on a Mirabilia, they have to think more, like it's more of a challenge for them. For me, this is what I've sort of like grew up stitching on over the last 25 years. And to me, it's like I could pick out any Mirabilia, open up the chart, and instantly know where I would start this one, how I would attempt it. Like, I can just open it up and go. To me, this is so easy and enjoyable and exciting. I really love them. And I have to remind myself sometimes, like as I'm going through this Stitchy journey, as I'm trying new things, I always find that at the end of the day, I come back to these. And it's nice to have something to come back to, you know, if I'm trying something different, a different designer, working on a sampler, that sort of thing. I know that when I get burnt out, or if I'm like, just like, I've hit a point where I'm like, I'm just not like making much progress. Like I've been stitching on this for like 3 or 4 days now, and it's like, I'm just slow stitching. And I know that if I get out a Mirabilia and stitch on it, I'm gonna see progress, and it's gonna come along fast. Like, it's never a slow thing for me. Because I love them so much. So here we go. A little more of a close-up. And then we'll move on to the next one. This is another one that I felt a little bit more brave to try on a different fabric. This one is Shakespeare's Fairies by Nora Corbett. It's MD 103. This chart, over the years, every single time I came across this on Instagram, or if I was on the Mirabilia webpage and looking at charts, just looking at what's out there, what's new, I would come back to this chart every time and be like, I have to stitch this. And was it last year, the year before, I purchased it and got a start on it. I guess it would have been 2023 that I started this one. But yeah, it was like an absolute, like if I could only, you know, how many more could I stitch in my lifetime? This had to be one of them. Had to be. Must stitch. And I love showing this one because if you're looking at this today and you're thinking, yeah, that's one of my top picks too, you need to go get this. This is still in print. It's popular, but not as, like, people stitch it, but I don't see it as often as some of the other ones. So it's around, like, you know, a lot of the times I'm showing you patterns that are older, and I wish they were still in print, because I get comments like, oh, I love that one, but it's out of print now and too expensive. And, you know, because people jack up the prices on like eBay and stuff like that, which is really unfortunate. But when you have a favorite, like, that's just my advice, is that when you have a favorite chart of Mirabilias, and if it's older, like this one came out in 2009. It's old. It's not that old. It's not 19, but it's, you know, in the early 2000s. get it. Go get it. Go have a little collection of your top favorites. So here I am on this one. This is a 32 count. Picture This Plus Nocturne. And I really wanted something when I was picking out this fabric. I wanted something where these lanterns would just pop off the page. Sort of that same idea of like if you had a lantern, they would be brighter on the fabric. And I loved the feeling of this being sort of like midsummer night. You know, it's not midnight, but it's like the sun's gone down and there's still a little tiny bit of light in the out, and you're out with your lanterns just about to get started before it gets real dark, you know? And yeah, when I was working on this one, I had made a lot of progress last time where I was working on her dress. So this is where I was last time. You can kind of see this line in her dress. I had done that portion. And then when I picked this up, I just went to town. I did the rest of her dress that kind of kicks up and over, and I stitched 2 lanterns. Wow. So is she done, this first fairy? I think so, except for she hasn't been back stitched. So I might do that before I jump into the next one, but I'm not sure. I probably should, but I might not. You know, I might save that for later. It's not a huge undertaking. There isn't a ton of skin. You know, a hand here. There's some, you know, in her hand, there's some strings that go down to the lantern, so it shows that she's holding them. And same with on this side here too. But we'll see. I'm really obsessed with this wing. This is the start of the next fairy, and you can see her wing behind her face, and the color, oh, I hope you can see it, of the Krynic. It's like this dark black with gold, pink, and like a blue that are all sort of entwined into the Krynic. Very multicolored. It's so pretty. And there's some in here too. There was none in this one. This one had a totally different look to it than this wing did, and I love it. Oh, so I'm excited to get going on the second girl, just to get more shape into the design for the next girl. I think she's going to be a lot easier to do because the lantern's already done. I just got to stitch her dress, her skin and her hair, and then it'll be on to the next one. And I think she's gonna be epic. She's got the 3, like the front of her with the 3 lantern. Oh, this is so good. It's so good. I love this one. Yay. So that was so fun to bring her out and stitch on again. I'm gonna show you a few more. I have one more work in progress. This is Mooka, MD 156. She was released in 2018, and she was a part of Nora Corbett's 25-year celebration. This was a new chart that year. Looking at this and looking at, like, it's got a special sticker on the back where it says Mirabilia 1993 to 2018, 25 years. It makes me think and wonder, you know, I think she already celebrated her 30th. Will she do something for her 35th anniversary? Will she do this again where she has like a special set of charts? Or I know in 2025 she re-released, not necessarily she, but like Witch Alt. I think they make the decisions, I don't know, of what charts get reproduced. Like when she had her 25th anniversary, there were, I think, a total of 5 charts that were re-released and that they were special for that year. And they had been passed out of print charts that they did a run of, and that's exciting. I was really hoping that when she had hit her 30 that they were going to do that again, and it didn't. So I was like, And then it starts me thinking about other things, like, is Nora Corbett going to retire one day? Like, is she going to hit her 35? Is she going to hit you know, 35, I don't know, 40? Like, how long could she possibly keep going for? I'm very curious. So again, like I said, if you have charts that you love of hers, just go get them. She's an amazing designer. You're not going to want to miss out on them later on. This is Mooka. I made excellent progress on her too. Last time you've seen this, I had completed this brown and I was working on the blanket on the top. This time I picked her up, I did more of her bed. So working on the bed frame across and filling in these colors and getting in some of the ribbon. Those tealy bluey colors, so pretty. I really do want to get to the other side of the bed and get the other post in. And then that way I could jump around the design. I could move up to the chandelier. I could do the border and test the border as I'm going along. Like, yep, it makes sense on this side, makes sense on that side. Keep going, you know, there's a border around the whole thing and I'm nervous about that not matching up. So I like to have different things to go off of. I could work more on her dress. I could work on her wig. Like, there's still a ton to this. But before I get to those things, I want to get the post of her bed in so I can jump around the chart. So there's more of her blanket and there's a giant pillow, more ribbons and fabric draping, the bedpost. But look at her. This is one of those charts that I just don't see people stitch. There are a few, but not many. Like, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous chart and the colors are amazing and I love her. I love her. All right, you guys are gonna laugh. I ran out of time and had to go pick up one daughter from school and take her to work. She has a job at the mall. And I went and did that, came back, and now I'm gonna finish up the rest of my fairy video. I have a couple more past finishes that are my big Mirabilia finishes that I have yet to frame, and a few more charts to show you from my collection. So here we go. I've shown these too many times. I have been waiting to frame these. I want to frame these two as a set. This is Bliss Fairy. I want to frame them two as a set because the flowers sort of create this heart shape and I want to take them in at the same time. I know this is going to be an expensive adventure, these two, because yeah, I want them to be framed at the same time and their matting complement each other and to hopefully try to create that shape of a heart. And I'll show you the second one in a second here. So this is Bliss Fairy. And I was talking to you earlier about how some of Mirabilia's designs have that, you know, where the stem of the flower goes up and over, sort of creates that umbrella look. These were a couple of charts that I had fallen in love with and adored. Had to stitch. This was years ago. I had finished these. So now what I have done is I have washed both of them. And I have them hanging up in my closet, protected with plastic over them to keep them clear of dust and things like that. But doing this video, just being able to like get them out again and show them to you and talk about them makes me so happy. So happy because I'm proud of these pieces and I can't wait for the day, you know, I'll get to show you these fully framed and complete and on the wall. It'll be amazing. I've been thinking that maybe these might be something that would be perfect for Jill Renzel, who does some really amazing framing with Mirabilias and artwork and things like that. So I'm gonna have to like save up a couple pretty pennies to get these ones done. That would be fun. I thought that would be really fun to do. So I'm saving for these ones. Yeah. Bliss Fairy was a joy to stitch. Again, these big jumbo beads. They're the largest size beads that like Mill Hill has, or that Nora Corbett uses in her designs, the large ones. And they're supposed to look like dewdrops on her wings and in the flower there. The colors are so pretty. I remember enjoying this stitch My favorite part about it was stitching the stem, stitching the beautiful, colorful flower. Her dress was completely different for me. She has a very small dress, lots of little colors, which I'm not used to. She has a lot of skin, you know, her legs are showing, her feet are showing. So in this one didn't have much of a dress, but her wings were epic to stitch too. Really, really fun overall. Love, beautiful colors, super interesting to look at. And then this was the first one I had done. This is Petal Fairy. And this is my highly recommended. If you love this stitch, like looking at this design, this was so fun to stitch. Every part of this there was never a dull moment while stitching this. The colors are beautiful. You have these beautiful petals in her that were just like, stitch this color, then that color, then this color. Like they just flowed really well and were really satisfying. The pink in the center of her dress was really fun. Her wings were very, very fun to stitch. I remember I flew through those wings. They were easy. They had Kreinik in them. They have just the right amount of beads. It wasn't too crazy. And then look at her hair and her face. Wow. Haven't even talked about the flower yet, but this face and the placement of her hands, perfection. This is the most beautiful face and hair, the hand placement, everything. And when I look at this, I think of Nora. There was a video that years and years ago, I believe it was a retreat in Australia that she had attended, and she had talked about like she had a little interview with one of the hosts of the retreat. And during this conversation, Nora talked a lot about the questions she got from people about the hands and the feet on her and the faces of her Mirabilias. And she said a lot of the time, what you're seeing is her hands. And the reason, because she had really large hands and really large feet, and she would often use herself as an example. Like she would look in a mirror and she would pose a certain way and have her hand a certain way, and she would see the image and then paint it or draw it. And I like, when she was describing the conversation about how she does it, I saw her do this, like this, the movement, and I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. That's Nora. This is because I had just finished working on her around that time. And I was like, that's her hand. That's how she would have placed it. And I just thought that was really cool. And I can't help but think about that when I see this one. And yeah, there's my little story about that. And my love for Nora Corbett designs and who she is as a designer. She's amazing. All right, let's get to this big jumbo flower. So in here, stitching these the greenery of the stem was really fun to do. And then inside this flower had a totally different feel, different kind of petals, different kind of flower. And it's got these oranges and pinks and greens and whites. It was really, really fun. And I loved how she is like looking up at the flower. This one's so good. So you can imagine, right? Like one day, I don't even know if I can get this in the video for you to see, but I hope you can see that. It kind of creates a heart. So two separate ones, two frames. They'll have to be adjusted, you know, ever so to kind of create a heart, so to speak. And then of course they will be framed together, but not side by side, but you know, like this. That's my dream, one day. One day. For now, they can hang in the closet and join my other one here. This is another oldie of mine. This is Midsummer Night, a Midsummer Night Fairy, number 30. This chart was designed in 1997. I think this one is still available. This one and the sister one, I'll show you that one next. A common theme for myself, any fairy that has a wand, I'm in. I want to stitch it. And and this was one of the first ones I had done. So she's got the tree branch that she's sitting on, her wand, her wings are amazing. And this was the first one I had ever done that was on a hand-dyed fabric. I have no idea where this fabric, who dyed it. I couldn't tell you. It was too far ago, too long ago to know. Where I had purchased it, I remember the day I had bought it, there wasn't many hand-dyed fabrics at the store. There was maybe 5, you know, there wasn't many to choose from, but was like, ooh, I remember being drawn to them and being like, what are these? These are new to the shop. And I saw this and had to go home with it, and I had started stitching this design on it. At first, I remember having a little bit of regret, only for one reason. Her skin on this fabric, I was upset about it a little bit because you could sort of see the fabric, look here, you could almost see the color of the fabric behind her skin. And it bothered me, but I got over it, you know? Overall, it's amazing and stunning. Like, I'm not gonna complain about it because overall this is amazing, right? I think we can all agree there. Her wings look really cool on this fabric too. I remember this one, it's a Krynic, but there's also blending filament in there too. So it's kind of like the use of DMC in parts of it, but not a lot. It's mostly like, look. And again, remember one of my favorite parts, behind the wing, you can tell this is the start of the wing, and you're peeking through the wing and seeing her skin and hair. So it's like a hair color of DMC with the blending filament. Wow, she's stunning. She needs to be on the ball. Maybe this is something I should frame this year. I'm gonna think about it. I've been thinking a lot about this 2025. I would love to have like 1 or 2 pieces, you know, where you send something to the framer and you wait a few months and then it comes back and you get it and then you can start thinking about your next one. Like, it would be nice to have that once a year or twice a year kind of thing. And these have been waiting in the closet for a long time. She's freshly washed, she's been ironed, she's ready to go. Like, I could take her today and get her done. She would be an amazing addition. And I wouldn't have any worries of like, she's a set and what frame would you like. I could just take her and get the frame that suits this piece the best. It would be fun to pick something out. So I'll think about that. So now I want to talk about a couple more charts that I have. There's only a few more things to show you of the sister chart to this. So Tatiana, the Queen of the Fairies, sort of inspired the theme of this video, Queen of the Fairies. Tatiana is number 38. She came out in 1997, and on the back it says it's the companion to A Midsummer Night Fairy. And I can see why. It's almost like if you were to have like a day and a night fairy, right? And looking at the faces on this one, it's almost like it's the same. Like they are sisters, you know, they have the same mom, and but they're just, one's got the darker colors and one's got like the fresh springy colors. I would love to stitch this one day, and maybe I would have to pick a fabric that is modeled so that maybe one day they could be framed together. Oh, here we go again. And the last chart I have to show you, this is another one from my collection, a newer edition. This is MD47. It's called April's Blue Diamond. It says on the back that this is the first in Nora Corbett's Year of the Fairies collection. And I'm not too familiar with which ones belong to that. I think I've seen like a couple of them where it's like, it's the June fairy or the July fairy or something like that, where they have the month and the title. This one says April. This is beautiful. I don't know if there is, I think there actually is an August one. I'm an August baby, And if I were to do, you know, pick one that was for my month, I think there is one that is an August fairy. I might have to look for that one. But without, you know, the months, this is still really, really beautiful, and I would love to stitch her. It has my favorite color of Krynic, 1432, in her wings. It is the classic Mirabilia color for a wing in the background, especially for the pixies. A lot of them have those. 1432 I have lots of, and I could get fabric for her and stitch her up. She would be really fun. That's the last of it. We made it through. We have seen all of my past finishes, every chart in my collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, I hope you had fun. I had a great time. And I want to remind you about the giveaway. If you're interested in this Fairy Dreams, leave a comment below with the word fairy, and I'll do a draw in the next video. That'll be fun. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I'll catch you again soon. I have already been working on a few things for my next video because I have started to think, now that all my fairies have been done and they've been sitting here waiting for a video to be filmed, I've started to stitch some more projects that are different. You know, I have some owl forest embroidery coming up, and I have a sampler that I'm working on, and I have a new start. Like, I'm so tempted to show you, but I'm gonna save it for I was almost there, I almost did it. But I'm gonna save it for the next video. I have a brand new project, new pattern to show you that I'm about to start. So I'm excited, lots to do, lots to stitch. I hope you got a lot of great stitching in, and I will see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Because that's another thing, like the creative process. I heard you mention yesterday that you do actually like pose in your garden and maybe get an idea of a figure.
I did.
Can you talk a bit about
the ladies in my garden, you know, and all that? I was just like, I don't have a model, so I had this full-length mirror, and I just stood there like, okay, but you know, or I'll use my hands, which, you know, my hands do strange things.
But that looks like my Gypsy Queen hand. I can see.
You see now?
Yes.
Like people are like, well, they are always sometimes they're like, well, look at her hands, and I'm like, well, look at mine do strange things. So,
but your ladies are not dissimilar to your own figure and your own stature and your leanness. So I think that.
Well, my mom was a fashion illustrator, and she taught me how to do fashion, and I love that. Like from an early age, it was like everyone's super tall, and you know, and just love of color and everything.